A whole chapter dedicated to the clash that is Rebecca versus Clown, as well as how much that Clown is underestimating Rebecca, and then finally until he gets serious and seemingly answered in just one move. But this is a Hiroshima manga. We know for a fact that that is always a trick, and I hope she bounces back quickly and destroys that arrogant jackass. Yeah, this is me, the Angry Anime Fan, the Despair Reviewer, although technically I only review Eden Zero nowadays, so it's a different theme of it all. And it's Eden Zero chapter 190. And with the cover page details the Ruthord siblings after, well, they were orphaned. The chapter begins with the firing, as Rebecca managed to escape the firing and the clown just mocks her for it. It turns out that all the effects really are part of his power, although it's not exactly known how we can do that, but he is called the Death of Edens, so who knows. He fires more fire and even and Rebecca managed to kick him, but that doesn't seem to phase Clown much, and then he begins suddenly create lightning on the floor that and mocks her for being human. So Rebecca manages to grab a hold of a draper while Clown just says that it's standard practice to suppress your opponent's best movements. It's worth noting that it seems to touch some kind of metal things as well, which actually turns out to be throwing knives. So yeah, Clown really does, at least in this one picture, seems to embody his image of a circus clown. Granted, what happens in the end of this chapter, it is very likely that all of this is just an act. He throws the knives at Rebecca and she still dodges, still being in her overdrive form. And we can see that when she is in her overdrive form, she is extremely athletic. And unfortunately Pino and Happy can only watch while they can't do anything. But then suddenly Pino realizes something, that she must hit the cage with a sword. So she manages to grab a sword with her legs. Actually a pretty nice image of it all. And which Clown just calls unladylike. She throws it at the cage, freeing both Happy and Pino. Pino activates her EMP, but the Dark Stars are of course immune to that. But the real reason was to shut down the electronics around the stage, allowing Rebecca to land again and cancelling her overdrive form, but also allows her to fully... Well, she doesn't cancel her form immediately, but she does manage to grab Happy and can finally shoot. After all, she does says that her main combat is always the Happy Blaster. It also revealed that Clown also has a barrel into his wrist, but with the combination of the overdrive as well as the Happy Blaster, Rebecca managed to fire full force into the neck of Clown, which is very soft. Unfortunately, that is not enough to knock down Clown, which is actually a bit uncharacteristic of a Hiroshima manga. You know, mostly just like that, and they all down. He begins to realize that Rebecca is not a weakling and activates his battle dress re-equip. And here is my biggest gripe. We all know that they have a battle dress re-equip. That is not a gripe for me. What is a gripe is when Wizard entered his. I do not recall we heard the name of the dress. And also when Hermito and Sisters entered theirs, we have not heard the name either. Oh, what is going on here? Of all the mangas out there, Hiroshima has always been the one to immediately give us the names of some things. But surprisingly, in Zero, he has been very slow in giving it. So why didn't he give the name to Wizard? I'm actually beginning to wonder. Either way, in the battle dress re-equip of Clown, it's actually called Nightmare Clown, and it takes on, appropriately, a much more sinister form. One can even argue this is Clown's true form, because as you know, or may not know, in his base form, Clown has somewhat bright colors. I mean, I'm only saying somewhat. including brighter hair and everything else. However, in this battle dress form, all of that is discarded, very likely giving a symbolism, taking off the mask of the jester and showing the killer that is beneath. Granted, we already have someone who is a killer, so that's probably a bad wordplay of it all. In the form, he is more muscular. His bright colors are switched with all black. He has a black-like coat. Even his mask becomes more menacing and sharp-looking, and his hair, from what I can presume, either turns white or something else light-colored. He truly fits the gray of a nightmare clown. And suddenly says pleasant nightmares, which I wonder is attack, which is a fog that suddenly seems to disassemble Rebecca as she turns into mist. Clown only laughs, saying bye-bye, and unfortunately, the chapter ends there. Okay, so I didn't like the end. Why do you always have to take away the main characters? I didn't like the fact that Clown had the name of a battle dress when we didn't even hear that from Wizard. Maybe there's a clue that Wizard is not gone and Clown is. All in all, it was just some nice movements and nice posture for Rebecca to show her nice advancement in skills. But it's clear that Clown never took any of this seriously. More than that, what the hell is that mist? He is called the Death of Edens, and that seems to erase Rebecca. So yeah, we'll see what happens of it all. But if it's a kind of instant skill, then I hope they have a way to combat that. That's basically this chapter. It does show though that Rebecca needs Peanut and Happy. She is not the strongest fighters of the crew, which of course Clown cannot help but mention. But we still shouldn't underestimate Rebecca, and we should very appreciate the way she fought. But Clown is really a sadistic bastard, which is appropriate. I can praise though that the battle dress form of Clown is much more menacing. Gives a really new perspective on the fact of fearing of the Clown. And it does, as I said before, it's a symbolic way to show the true character beneath the seemingly jovial Clown. The seemingly effeminative, jovial Clown. Granted, everything he has done has really established him as being jovial. It just shows more that he's sadistic. But now he's throwing away all that for pure chaos. So give me your thoughts if you have any.